welcome to today's live stream. Today's live stream, we're going to be talking about the psychology of workplaces and how that links to great social media content. And I've got Becky from the Claremont group, who is basically a workplace psychologist, aren't you, Becky?
That's exactly what I am, yeah.
Yeah, so she's going to be talking about how that links to great social media content. So for those of you that don't know, I'm Bex from Social Media Executive, and I run these live streams every Monday, sharing tips and advice on how to improve your social media. Again, these live streams are bought from the Social Flock, which is my social media support group that helps busy business owners be consistent and compelling on social media. So if you want to find out a little bit more, I'll share the link in the chat. But without further ado, Becky, tell us a little bit more about who you are, what you do, and how we can use our workplaces on our social media.
Yeah, absolutely. So as you kindly mentioned, my name's Becky Turner and I'm a workplace psychologist at Claremont Group Interiors, which is essentially we design and build workplaces. Used to just call it offices, but now it's got to offer, so much more of an experience that we tend to go with workplaces rather than offices. And yeah, it's really my role around psychology in these areas is all about making sure that your workplace works for your people. So it will help them be productive, help them work in a way that suits them. In this hybrid way of working, it's making sure that you're offering a space that can really drive people in there. They want to be there. They're not just being forced in or bribed in, as sometimes we're seeing, or maybe we used to see. So yeah, it's about making sure that workplaces work for everyone, essentially. And
I suppose that's really important, isn't it? Particularly since COVID, because a lot of people now are used to working from home, and actually a lot of people are wanting to work from home. And so I suppose it's about providing that incentive for people to come into the office and want to come into the office.
Yeah, absolutely. It's more of a conscious decision making that we have in the morning when you think, or maybe the night before when you're looking at your diary and you think, where am I going to go and work today? Yeah. It's not as easy as that habitual get up, get in the car, get on your bus, get to the office. It's very much more of a decision. And what's going to influence that decision is probably the experience you'd have either in the workplace, whether that be positive or negative, as well as the commute, as well as what else you've got going on in your personal life. All of those things come together. But if we can provide a space that really is compelling and people want to come in, and there's a few areas specifically we know that people are looking for when they're making that decision that we can get onto in a minute. But yeah, it's about influencing that as much as possible positively, rather than just saying you have to come in 2 or 3 days a week, as we're seeing a lot of at the moment.
Yeah, and we met, didn't we, a few weeks ago, and I saw a presentation that you'd done in Warrington, and I just found it absolutely fascinating because workplaces, like you say, are changing so much, but it's also about creating those workplaces. I mean, my background is public sector. I worked in the council for many, many years, and it did improve when I went towards the last few years, but basically it was very sterile, used to be very sterile. It was a desk, very minimal. There were no pictures, no decoration, no sort of creature comforts, as it were. And it was literally, you had to come into the office. It wasn't a choice. But it wasn't very creative atmosphere. Yeah, and that's
it's not creative, not conducive for teamwork even. Sometimes it's you do find that people corral together and get through it because it's such a, as you say, sterile and maybe impersonal environment, and you feel a sense of cohesiveness and community through dealing with that all together. However, it doesn't really create those spaces for socializing and for connecting as well as they do often now. So yeah, and I think it's interesting.
Yeah, go on.
Sorry, go on, Bex.
No, I was just going, and it's absolutely fascinating with your role as well, particularly about creating workspaces, and it's all about that psychology behind it, isn't it? And we were chatting, weren't we? It's all about these workspaces can actually be used to attract new staff be used as a bit of a sort of recruitment tool on your social media, but also to highlight that sort of fun that you can have and that sort of ethos behind your company.
Yeah, and I think, if we had spoken maybe 3-4 years ago, pre-COVID workplaces, and you were saying, oh, I can really see a link about what you were saying between like offices and workplaces then and social media, we probably would have got laughed out the room, because really you sort of think, okay, well, it's just somewhere that you have to go and work. It's somewhere that you're just going and sitting at a desk all day. What's that got to do with the content I'm putting onto social media?
Yeah.
But now it's not that passive place. It's a real active tool that you can use, and you should be using. It has the potential, whether you've got in your budget a full refurbishment or relocation, or actually if you can just do bits and bobs, either way, you can really influence that and make it that active tool for supporting your people, retaining, attracting, and making them more healthy and happy as well as productive.
And I suppose as well, it's also about, your customers as well. If your customers are coming in, and seeing this amazing workspace, again, it's a bit like, it is sort of backdrop content, isn't it, for some of the talking points, making you memorable as a company, putting it on using it as sort of backdrops for your social media, isn't it?
That's it. Yeah. So you've got some real direct links there between your workplace and your social media. So literally, never before have we been asked to create, as part of the brief, to create Instagrammable spaces.
Yeah.
And that came up in the last couple of years. And actually it's quite common now that we would get that in a brief from a client, that they want somewhere that can, you're posting your content, you're having a good time and showing that you're all connected in some way. We've got a few images if you're happy to share them, Bex.
Yeah, because some of them are just amazing.
Yeah, absolutely. Let me just get up my screen and I can talk you through some of them. So this is an energy company, a green energy company. So as you can see, they built their brand into it. They'll have big events in this space that they might put out. They might put out some content there. So, it's showing what they do in a really fun and playful way, if that makes sense. It's not too in your face. It's not their brand name, but it's just a nice way of showing the passion about what and the fun that they have whilst doing their work.
And you've got the nice company name in the background as well. So it's just perfect, isn't it? Whatever they share, that branding is there on their social media.
It's there. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then we've got another one here, which is it's saying who they are, San Carlo restaurants. And again, it's just a really nice piece where you would have your photos, you would maybe do a podcast or something in that area, or film some content if you wanted to. It's not the biggest office, so it's a nice intimate type space. But actually that area is really nice to just sit and check in for the day, check your emails, have a coffee and a quick informal catch up. So it's dual role. We're not saying create these Instagrammable spaces just to take photos and just to create content. They can be utilized throughout the day as well.
Yeah, and I love that, just having that tree in the office. It just really stands out, doesn't it? And people are like going, "Oh, that's interesting." Want to take that closer look and stop scrolling through on your social media.
Exactly. Yeah. And this one again is very overt. So this is essentially, you go through your speedways where you can you've got your access into the office space, and then you walk through this tunnel into your space. Now, Flutter own companies like Paddy Power, Betfair, Sky Bet. So we use the branding here. We call it the gallery within something that we've coined the destination office, which has got lots of different areas within your workspace that can provide somewhere to feel part and connected to your brand, to make sure you've got somewhere for quiet work, to socially connect. So this essentially is the gallery that's all about your branding. So you walk through here and the lights go on as you go through. They're on digital screens, so again you can change it up so your brand never goes out of date. So really cool impact on this piece, and you can just stand outside and get your photos.
So those are actually digital screens rather than So those pictures can be changed at any point in time.
Yeah, it's really a plug and play sort of system. We're doing that
Yeah.
more often than not now, actually, because brands do change and your messaging changes, or if you're having an event, you can change it up for a specific reason. So yeah, it works really well.
That looks really good. And people can just stand next to them and do a bit of a selfie, can't they? And then tag that company in. Yeah.
Absolutely.
This is brilliant. I love this one.
And this is those projects that I've just shown you are pretty much during and post COVID, whereas this one was around 2016, 2017, I think. So it's just goes to show that we've been doing these types of spaces for a while that just add impact, add experience, and create a differentiator. Now, this one wasn't created to be sort of an Instagrammable space, as it were. That wasn't part of the brief. However, I think it really transfers into that, doesn't it? I would definitely be taking my photos and videos in this space anyway.
And it's about creating something unusual, something that stands out, and something that people want to take a picture of, isn't it? You know, because if you didn't have the cars on there, you just had the desks on the right hand side, you probably wouldn't think to take a picture and pop it on your social media. But when you've got these little minis driving all around the walls, it's like, oh, let's take a picture, because it's quite memorable, isn't it?
And, absolutely.
We've got, I think
so you can have all of
Claire's just said, I think she needs one for Wilmslow Youth for their Instagram space. They run a youth club. So yeah, something like that would be brilliant in a youth club, wouldn't it? Yeah.
Could you imagine? Yeah. And then this one's quite a simple one, really. This is ours. So our branding has got this big yellow C. And actually the space that's now in the middle of our office used to be our event stand that we would take away and go and do exhibitions and things like that with it. So that's where it came about. But actually, we found that it was getting so much use in the office. Like you'll see me sitting in there. It's perfect for a 5'1" type person. And it's just a nice little place to work. But actually, that's where we take all of our pictures. And the C comes away to events with us as well, like company-wide events. But here's just a few examples of how we use the C throughout the year. So you can see at the bottom we got the Christmas decorations there. We decorate it for Halloween and all sorts of things. At any time that somebody brings a dog or a baby into the office, they get in the C, and there's always a picture there.
Yeah.
And then before we go for pitches or big events or anything like that, you'll see that the groups come together and we get a picture in there and rally the troops essentially to wish us luck. So yeah, it's always used for us. We think it's quite memorable once you've seen it, the big yellow C. Like I say, it used to drive people to our event stands. We've got a new one now which actually lights up. So this one here stays in our office all the time.
Yeah.
So yeah, we quite like that.
And I think that's a really nice example, because some of the examples you've shown have been like a big office refurb. Now, not everyone's going to have the budget or the space to do that. But actually, this is just quite simple, isn't it? It's just something small that people can start identifying with your brand, isn't it? You know, that's very, very much the essence of your brand. People can sit on it. And you're encouraging people to take pictures, so it can be quite a simple one. You know, and I obviously I don't have an office, so I have Barbara in the background, and like you say, she's now got her Christmas outfit on. So Barbara is the mascot from the social flock, and she comes round, and you know, although it's not a workspace, she sits in that workspace, but she's that mascot that people identify with, and that's really important, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's about what makes you you, and trying to have a bit of fun with it. If you're going for social media, you don't necessarily always want to be super serious. So yeah, it just creates something that helps people all come together. And like I say, for us, it just happens to be in the middle of our office, so everyone's seeing what's going on. And it's just a really nice little piece that brings everyone together.
Yeah, and do you just encourage any visitors and stuff to take a picture and tag you in and things like that?
Yeah, Absolutely. Yeah. So we'll always encourage them, especially again if a visitor brings a dog in, and I know not every organisation allows dogs to come into their office, but we do every now and again. And some of our, like say, some of our visitors bring them in, babies come in, the visitor might just go and sit in there with whoever they're visiting, and get a picture and tag us in social media. We always encourage that.
Yeah, and it just looks really, really effective, doesn't it?
I hope so. Yeah. Fab. And I think so that's the real, direct link between workplace and social media. And that's really, you are showing at that point, okay, here's your workplace and here's what content you could put on social media directly. But I know we sort of were thinking beyond that. And when we first met, the stuff that we were talking about, what the office, the feelings that the office needs to evoke, or the feeling that your workplace needs to evoke in your people to drive them in and to allow them to want to be there. Back in January, actually, we did some research. So we commissioned some research. So it went out to people beyond our client base. So it was non-biased. And we found that really some of the 4 key, there were 6 key feelings that we found people wanted to feel when they came into the office. And they were valued, connected, supported, included, proud, and inspired. So there's a lot there. And you're welcome to the paper is called The Workplace Ooh. That's on our website and on our LinkedIn and everything. So you can take a look for yourselves if you want to. But really the sense of feeling valued, connected, supported, and included, they're all very intrinsic to who we are as people. And they're the things that I think can really transcend the world of workplace and go into the world of social media as well. And it's all about building connections, all about feeling a sense of connection and belonging and community. And that's really what we sort of strive for in the workplace. And I can see that that's what you're striving for when you create content or you engage with content. It's about connecting and feeling, a part of something.
Yeah, no, and I think you're absolutely right, because social media and your followers are your community. And it's about giving your followers that sense of who you are to help build up that trust. And who you are is where you work, isn't it? And the values that you have that you can offer through some of the great images that you've seen. And I think it's about building that community and also attracting employees, potential new employees, and building up a really, really positive vibe on your social media and visitors coming in. And I just think some of the work that you guys do around that is really, I just think it's really quite inspiring, really.
Inspired, one of the 6 feelings.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's it. And that goes beyond just putting on the walls like climb the mountain today or whatever it might be. That's not the kind of inspired we want. We want people to really buy in, like you say, to the authentic brand. So you're not putting up your corporate colors everywhere, and that's not necessarily what we mean by connecting to your brand. It's all about, what is that internal mission? What's the purpose of what you do? What's going to bring people together on that journey? And from evolutionary psychology, from agriculture, 90% of our evolution came before then. So we're talking, millennia. The importance of connection is ingrained within us because that was a survival mechanism. And it's something that we still are very much attracted to, something that whether we consciously know it or not, we strive to connect and create a sense of community. So whether that's in person or virtual now, we still get those same feelings when we feel it. And we still get those same feelings when we feel ostracized from a group. So, that's a massive part. And in the workplace, it's about creating areas that people can connect and sort of either bump into each other spontaneously, or you meet in the kitchen area or by the coffee machine, or it's those water cooler moments that we used to have. They just happen elsewhere now. And then, on social media, where do you sort of connect? Where do you interact? It's usually through people you engage with and content you engage with. So different types of communities, but still we're striving for the same things, and we're still driven by the same emotions to get there.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. Like what you said, just bringing people together, isn't it? And creating that little spark of conversation, so that people can start to connect. But no,
that's it.
I think it's just really interesting the way we can link, because people forget that their workspace is such an important place for not just their employees, but actually for their clients, potential clients and customers, and actually popping it onto your social media and sharing that can sort of attract attention.
That's it. Yeah, it's a look behind the scenes, isn't it? It's a look to see, okay, what's really going on with these people that we're wanting to work with. Are they what they say they are? Have they got that connection? Have they? Yeah, it's about lifting up the bonnet and seeing what's underneath.
Yeah. No, it's been brilliant. Oh, well, thanks, Becky. So if anyone wants to get in touch with you or wants to talk a little bit more detail about these amazing spaces that you can create, how can they get in touch with you?
So you're welcome to get in touch. Probably LinkedIn's the easiest way. I'm quite active on there. So either my own personal LinkedIn or Claremont's LinkedIn, not a problem.
And I'll pop the website as well, because again, there's some more fantastic examples on the website as well. But yeah, do connect with Becky on LinkedIn and look at the website. Well, I'd just like to say a huge thank you for joining us today and inspiring us. I'm all inspired now. I feel like I just need to redecorate my office and a few more sheep in the background for the social flock.
That's it.
And do keep an eye out, because we're not doing elf on a shelf this year for social media, the social flock. We're doing sheep on a shelf. So again, it's all about what's in the workspace. It's all about having a little bit of fun, but a little bit like the way you've decorated your sea. We're doing hashtag sheep on a shelf. So do keep an eye out for that.
Very good.
Right, again, if you're watching this on catch up, or if you're watching this live, please do give us a thumbs up. Do follow us on social media. And if you've got any questions and you're watching this on catch up, please do pop them in the chat, because we can, both of us will come back and answer any questions that you may have. But hopefully it's given you a little bit of inspiration as to the type of content you can put on your social media when it comes to the workplace, and how it really can help to promote your business and increase your brand awareness. So I'd just like to say a huge thanks to Becky. Thank you so much for joining me again. It's been really, really, really interesting.
You're welcome.
And we'll see everyone again next Monday at 12:30 for more social media tips and advice. So thanks for watching, guys. See you again soon.